And if you'll just hold on one moment, I want to make sure. Oh, there he is. Okay, I believe we are ready to start the meeting this evening, Mr. Chair.
Good evening, everybody, and I hope everybody is having a pleasant holiday season after Thanksgiving and before the Christmas holidays. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Member McCown Foster. Member Sineni. Member Loja. Secretary Ritter.
Good evening.
Member Hafner.
Here.
Alternate Welker. Alternate Bartlesmeyer.
Here.
Alternate Marion. Council Member Liaison Clark.
Here.
And our Commission Liaison Cone.
Here.
Wonderful. I see Member Sineni has also joined us. We have quorum.
Good. Let's review the agenda for items tonight, and that is evidently a public comment session and 2 items of new business. At this point, what is the public comment session about, Robin?
Chair Ritter, I believe what would be first on the agenda would be approval of the October 14 draft minutes.
Yes, you're correct. Can somebody make a motion on whether to accept the meeting minutes from the October 14th meeting?
Motion to accept.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? I didn't hear anybody. I guess it passes. Next item is the public comment.
I believe the next item is review of our agenda items to be discussed tonight.
That would be the public comment and then the 2 items of new business.
Okay.
Mayor Bolin has some changes to the Architectural Review Board he'd like to discuss.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Happy holidays.
Oh, whoops, sorry. May I interject and let's go to public comment now.
Okay.
That is more important than what I have to say, yes. So
We'll get to you as the next item on the agenda, Mayor Bolin. All right, I do see 2 attendees, including a phone number that I do not recognize. So if there is a member that would like to make a comment at this time, please use the raise hand feature and we will acknowledge you and allow you to have your comment. All right, seeing no raised hands, Mr. Chair, you are free to move on to the next item on the agenda.
I'm assuming that is the mayor's changes to the Architectural Review Board.
okay, thank you. And my apology. I thought you called on me earlier. So
Oh, I did.
yeah, that's all right. No worries. Okay, happy holidays, everyone. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and gearing up for the rest of the season. And I also want to thank each one of you for everything you do for our city. This is a very important board and your service is greatly appreciated. And I want you to know that all of us in an elected capacity appreciate that. Originally, and I'm going to be short and brief here. Originally, I was planning to be here to talk about the issue that had arisen with respect to the Fox Creek veterinary spot, but that to get into that would probably require an executive session because there were more things that kind of unfolded from that. And I'm happy to do that with you if any of you want to do that. But my understanding is from our team, I talked with them today, given technology and being able to do that and ensure the privacy of the executive session, which it would have to be, we would probably need to do that at another date. But the main reason, and if any of you want to do that, I'm happy to come back and do that. The other thing that and the main reason I wanted to visit with you tonight relates to a few changes that the council and I have made to the code concerning the Architectural Review Board. And essentially, these amount to accomplishing two things. Number one is to achieve an overall team approach. And by team approach, I mean a team approach based on you as members of this group, members of our Planning and Zoning Commission, members of the council, and so forth, that we have with other boards, and particularly the Planning and Zoning Commission. And secondly, and somewhat related to that, is to make the procedure that relate to decisions by the ARB consistent with the way that we handle decisions made by our Planning and Zoning Commission. So, for example, the Planning and Zoning Commission, when it, and I'm assuming all of you know what that is, but if any of you want me to explain that commission, I'm happy to do that. Is there anyone who wants me to kind of do some drill down on the Planning and Zoning Commission before I go on? Because I don't want to assume that anyone knows things about that commission, particularly in what it does. So would anyone like me to talk about that commission for a moment? Nope, all good. Okay, perfect. So that commission, which is composed of representatives from each of our wards, and it's a very significant, as this board is, commission on the part of the city's governance. When it decides, for example, to grant a conditional use permit, a CUP, or a planned residential overlay district, a PRD, much like that's exactly what the Fox Creek veterinary spot is. In fact, those decisions either come before the council as an ordinance in the case of a PRD, or are provided to the council as what's called a receipt and file. And usually happens at the end of the work session or the main meeting of the council. And Joe Vinich will explain to the council what the P&Z did and give the elected officials the opportunity to look at that and basically what we call pick it up, get into it more or not. With respect to ARB, that has never been the case. And so in fact, with the ARB, it looked like, as the city attorney and I were going through and looking at, how everything sort of functioned, going back to my first point, from a cohesive team approach and knowledge of what left hand, right hand is doing, which I think we would all agree is important, regardless of the organization. There was no nexus. There was no connection really between this group and our Planning and Zoning Commission, and or the council. And in fact, this group, in large measure, functions, I would argue, as almost I don't want to use the word subset, but sort of as an affiliate of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Because, for example, the Planning and Zoning Commission has, essentially approved of a certain development, and then this board is looking at the architectural components of that, and that relates to what the Planning and Zoning Commission is doing, but yet it never comes back to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So to remedy all that, the long story short is the council approved, and I've signed changes to our rules, which basically do this. So this board continues just as it is, with one very important exception I'm going to get to in a second, to further solidify that cohesiveness among our team. And those decisions can be, not will be, can be reviewed by our Planning and Zoning Commission and by the council, just like the decisions of our Planning and Zoning Commission. And then the one thing I alluded to just seconds ago, relative to the other change that brings about the full cohesiveness, is that, as you know, up to this point, Councilmember Clark and Commissioner Cohn, who sits on this board for the very reasons I just mentioned, as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, have never had the right to vote. Well, now they do. And so in essence, what this brings about is just like the Planning and Zoning Commission, the council appoints, for example, a representative of their own to that board. And that council member presently is Larry Brose from Ward 1, and he has the right to vote. So that this makes this board, these changes make this board consistent with the same approach that we've been taking with respect to Planning and Zoning Commission, of which this board is largely part of as an affiliate. So those are the changes, and I'm happy to, and all that means, by the way, as of tonight, Councilmember Clark and Commissioner Cohn obviously have the ability to vote. So I'm happy to entertain any questions any of you may have relative to those changes.
The only question I have at that point, are they basically then the council members basically alternate members, or are they essentially regular members?
I'm sorry, you cut out there, Alex. I didn't understand the full.
Sorry.
That's all
I
right.
was just saying, now that they have voting power, I was just wondering, does that make them on the level of alternate members or as regular members of the council or the board? Sorry.
Essentially, that would make them what I would call regular members. So they have the Councilmember Clark or whomever fills that spot in the future, and Commissioner Cohn and whomever fills that spot in the future will have the ability to vote, just as each of you have the ability to vote, which is exactly the same as the way our Planning and Zoning Commission is structured.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to eat.
You can't.
Julie, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay.
My husband came and interrupted me. I'm sorry. He didn't realize I'm on a call.
That's all right. No worries. Councilmember Clark.
Yes, does that give us also the ability to make motions and second?
It does. Full membership. Yep. Just like, so on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this has been the case since the city's founding, there are the following are the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, of which this board is an affiliate of. Obviously, that's why we have a commissioner from the Planning and Zoning Commission on here, Ed Cohen. So the way that membership structure and voting structure has been since day one of the city's founding is we have one representative from each of our 8 wards, and we have 2 additional voting members. The first one is a representative, as I mentioned earlier, that's appointed by the council right after the April election. And it's currently, as I said, Larry Brose. And the second is the mayor, whoever that may be at the time. And the mayor actually has the option to sit or not on the Planning and Zoning Commission. But if the mayor elects to do that, both the mayor and the mayor is a vote in a voting position, and the liaison from the council is a voting in a voting position. And as you can see, with the composition of this group, which I also try to keep as best I can, even though it's not required, composed of people who represent the full extent of our city, the different wards. So you, Councilmember Clark, are the liaison from the council. And just like on Planning and Zoning Commission, you now have the right to vote. And just as Ed Kahn is a member of that commission, which this is an affiliate of, he now has the right to vote. So it's consistent with the team approach, number one, and number two, the way we've done things with the body as to which this board is an affiliate of. Yes, Councilmember Clark.
Sorry, I have to mention this. I talked to Robin about this earlier, but on page 2, under qualifications, B, so I'm assuming this isn't a girls' club only, and we can invite the boys to be a part of it, because you've got on this, and I brought this up the last time we talked about the same document, that it says during her or her term instead of her or his term.
Yeah, so actually, the answer to your question is that is a city attorney issue, and we may want to, make that tweak to it, and we can talk to John Young about that. But I will say, I'm very proud to tell you that for the first time in Wildwood history, we actually have far more women on our Planning and Zoning Commission, and I believe on this board, than we have ever had.
If I may, I just want to follow that up and let you know that I did bring that to our city clerk's attention today, and she is conferring with the city attorney on that issue.
All the more reason to have Councilmember Clark as a voting member, because she is very much about the details and knowing how everything goes. So thank you for mentioning that. Any other questions? Mr. Chairman, do you, I'm sorry, actually, you should have called on Councilmember Clark. She was just raising her
Not a
hand.
problem.
That's all right. Thank you so much.
If there aren't any other questions for the mayor, should we move on to the next item on the agenda?
Okay, thank you again, and happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Ritter, excuse me.
Yes, Ms. Clark.
I wasn't waving goodbye. I was going to ask the mayor before he left if we should have a vote on having an executive session next meeting to discuss what he was going to explain to us about the fence.
I'd be happy to look into that, and if he would like to, we could schedule the executive session at the next meeting, if that would be appropriate.
That would be up to Chair Ritter.
That sounds fine to me.
Thank you.
The next item is the initial review of the architectural drawings and related materials for 8 proposed awnings over exterior doors to a building located within the city's town center at the property located at 17014 New College Avenue. Which facility is that? Westridge Office Center?
Yes, that's correct. It's the Westridge Office Center 2.
I hate to say I'm not familiar with that. So do you have something you wish to show us, Ms. Keefe?
Yes, I will be presenting on that this evening. As you read into the record, this is an initial review of the architectural drawings and related materials for 8 proposed awnings on this office building that is located at our Westridge Office Center 2 development in our town center. It is located on land that is 1.14 acres total in size, and it's zoned C8 planned commercial district. This office building was built in 2006. This development was following the success of our first Westridge Office Center 1 development along 109 and New College Avenue. This Westridge Office Center 2 is not done quite as well. We currently have 2 of the office buildings that were proposed on the site. And as of our Monday meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, we've approved the rest of the site, or the Planning and Zoning Commission has approved the rest of the site as a residential development. The department does appreciate the continued investment in the community in that area. And tonight we have several representatives from Lawrence Fabric and the owner here with us to discuss this addition to their building. Our new assistant director, Melanie Ripito, and I are here to answer any questions you might have at this time.
I'm sorry to say I've not seen any visual documents, any images of what this is going to look like.
So I can bring that up for you. It should have been part of the Architectural Review Board agenda for this meeting.
Does not seem to have been in my package. That could be me.
Okay, if you'll hold on one moment, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so here you can see before you the subject property and location. It is an office building. It's along it's in the general vicinity of Highway 109 along New College Avenue. This is where the new residential development is proposed. And here are the two buildings that are currently occupied as office uses. And it's this building in particular that is the designee for these 8 new proposed awnings. And here you can see a closer view of it. And this is what should have been in your packet this evening. Did anyone else receive their packet? Okay, wonderful. So this is the font, what it's going to look like on the awnings. And the applicants were so kind as to provide a rendering for us, as well as some before photos. And then here you can see the original proposed site plan for Westridge Office Center 2. And as discussed, as of Monday, the Planning and Zoning Commission has approved this portion of the site for a residential use. And we are discussing this building here. And with your permission, how do I stop share here? There we go. And with your permission, unless you have any additional questions, we'd like to turn it over to the applicants to discuss what they're proposing.
Okay, that sounds fine.
Hello, my name's Jenny. Can you guys hear me? Am I a
Yes.
little loud? I'm with Lawrence Fabric and Metal Structures, and we're talking about the Westridge Office Center. The client would like 8 new frames. As you saw in the picture earlier, the fabric's falling apart off of one of the locations. So the client has asked for us to originally recover, but now we're going to replace the frame. The frame would be painted in black with fabric. And then also, oh, there you go. Perfect. So it looked just similar to that rendering there. And then each location would have an address on it, just for a visual from the street. So those letters are 5 inches in height. And they would all be, it'd be 8 total convex style awnings.
They're not backlit or anything?
They are not backlit. No, they're all opaque.
Are those just screen printed then on the fabric itself?
Yeah, so it's a process. It's a heat transfer process. So the decal is heat transferred onto the fabric, which gives it through the manufacturer, it's a 5-year warranty.
Do any of the other board members have any comments or questions? I don't.
Chairman Ritter, it looks like Member Cohn has
Mr.
his hand
Cohn.
raised.
Yes, I didn't hear what the exact fabric is.
So the client had of choice right now, it's Tempo Test is what the client has chosen.
Repeat that again. It's called what?
Tempo Test.
Tell me, is it like canvas? What is, I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, no, that's fine. So it's an acrylic material. It's not a vinyl. It's an acrylic, similar to what you would see on furniture, outdoor furniture fabric. So it's an actual fabric, not a vinyl.
Would it be possible to have a small sample sent to City Hall for us to actually get a better feel for it?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Chair Ritter. My question would be probably to Robin. What are these letters and numbers on the front? Is that acceptable to the department?
Yes, thank you for bringing up that issue. The department does have a little bit of a concern regarding the ratio of the font size compared to the awning. We would note that the parking space is about 8 feet away from the awning, so it does not appear to us that you would necessarily need to see it from that far away. So that would be the only concern that the department would have, but we'll leave it up to the board to decide what's appropriate.
Thank you.
I'm curious as to whether that image that is presented, you said those were 5-inch tall letters?
That's correct, yes.
Well, the
And it
handle
looks
on
a
it,
little larger on the rendering than what it actually is.
I was going to say it appears to be because the handle on that door is probably 12 inches tall.
Yeah, it is a little larger on that rendering than what it is. There's actually a proof in there that can kind of show you the ratio to the box. Oh, right there. So it's an 8-inch box that would be on the awning, and within the 8-inch box, it says 6 inches, but that's on the curved of like the S's and stuff. It's technically 5 inches.
What's the possibility for other sizes for the lettering? Is there, or is it basically custom sizing? It can be cut anything?
We can do any size on the lettering. It doesn't have to be 5 inches. The S's always go up more higher. So it's technically 5 inches on the numbers, but we can always go smaller in size. There's no limitation to that. We just have to go larger than a 1/2 inch.
I'm going to ask what may be a silly question to Ms. O'Keefe. Does the fire department have any play into the size of text identifying portions of a building?
That is a good question. And unless our assistant director has another response, I would say that's something we would have to look into and get back to you on,
Okay.
but not to my knowledge.
Ms. Clark has her hand up again.
Is there another area on the building that says 17014? Since all of them are the same, can we just have something that tells which suite?
In regards to Lawrence Fabric, that's definitely an option that I can review with the customer.
And would that be acceptable to the city also, Robin?
It is certainly something that we could consider. It's something that we would review together. I can't give you a definitive answer tonight.
So if there's not another number plate on the building, we would not object to the numbers on the awnings, but if there is a number plate on the building, we may reconsider. Is that what we're asking? Okay.
Yes, I just think that it doesn't need to be there if there's a number plate on the building, you know what the building is. It would just need to know which suite you're going to.
Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, I think that most people get confused very easily, and just a suite number or letter may not be sufficient enough to get into someone's office. So I would be more in favor of having the full address there, especially since all the entries are not like next to one another. That's my comment.
Ms. Hafner.
I agree with you, Ed. I was thinking the same thing as one of those people that does get confused with directions. But I do also have a question were these like this previously? So if there were awnings previously, how were they?
So currently there's actually a traditional awning, which we supplied a photo of. And as you can see, the fabric's fallen off.
Right.
So there's one traditional, the other ones are completely new frames. So
Okay.
there's not an existing awning there now, to my knowledge.
It
It
appears to be that the numbers are already over the doors.
And when the awning does go up, sometimes the awning is going to kind of hide some of that a little bit, depending on which way the sun does shine.
Thank you.
I
Ms.
kind of
Clark.
agree that the numbers do seem a little big. Especially looking at the banner style that was shown. I think the 5-inch maybe a little 5 with a 6-inch S, maybe a little big for just an 8-inch banner, essentially. So my opinion, maybe a smaller letter, especially with parking being as close as described. So smaller lettering might be a good idea.
Ms. Clark.
I'm sorry, I didn't lower my hand. No question.
Ms. Hafner. Oh,
I didn't lower my hand either, sorry.
okay, so at this point, we're looking at potentially having them show us another front with smaller letters. And since the numbers are already over the doors, are we looking to maintain the numbers on the front of the canopy or not?
I would agree with keeping the numbers.
I would keep the numbers.
Okay. So let's suggest that we have them reframe the image of a smaller text size, bring us a copy of the sample of the material, and look at it again at the next opportunity. Does that make sense?
I appreciate everybody's time. I just want to ask, is there a particular size that you guys have in mind? Maybe 3-inch?
Yeah, I would think possibly 3-inch would be good. Because I'm assuming that's at that point you're looking at 3 with your S being
It's almost
closer.
gonna be about,
Yeah,
well, if I
it's
make the
4.
S about 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that would probably be good.
Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, just a quick question. The material on the existing or older awning, is that a completely different material than what's proposed for the new awnings?
Yeah, so I don't have that. I apologize. I don't have the exact material that was on the existing awning. I don't know what that is, but I think it is a umbrella acrylic. So it's similar, but it's not Tempo Test. Tempo Test is a different material. Same components made, just different manufacturer.
It looks like it didn't really weather well, and I would hope that the material proposed is of a higher quality than what was used previously.
And when I supply the sample of material, I can supply you with the warranty information from the manufacturer and their specifications.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question. I think you said there was a 5-year warranty on the lettering. Is there a age on the warranty for the awnings?
Yeah, so typically for awnings, a lot of times for the fabrics, they're 8 to 10 years. So when I supply the sample, I'll provide that warranty information as well on that fabric. The graphics, I have a 5-year warranty on a vertical. That's just through the manufacturer. Obviously, they last a lot longer, but they just go ahead and downgrade. So, for instance, like the St. Louis Cardinals Busch Stadium, a lot of those have been up for, I think, 7-8 years. Some of them longer, and they're still withstanding and look good. So they're going to last longer. That's just all that we warranty it for.
Ms. O'Keefe, or Ms. Keefe, do we know if those were the original awnings on the building and when they were installed?
That I would defer that answer to the applicant.
And from my understanding, I apologize, I don't have that information with me, but it's from my understanding that those are original to the building.
And the buildings were built in 6? So that gives them about 15 years. That's not terrible. Would we like to make a motion tonight on moving this to the next meeting? Having the sample of the material, a reviewed or revised image showing the smaller lettering? Yes, Ms. Clark.
I will make that motion to defer this to the next meeting to bring back with a 3-inch letter size and fabric sample at the City Hall so that we can go up and take a look at it with the new images.
Anybody to second that?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Alex. All in favor? Aye.
Chair, I believe we'll need a voice vote for that.
Okay. You want to call a roll for that, Robin?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Aye, yes.
Member McCown Foster. Member Sineni.
Aye.
Secretary Ritter.
Aye.
Member Hafner.
Aye.
Alternate Welker. Alternate Bartlesmeyer.
Aye, in favor.
And Council Member Liaison Clark.
Yes.
And Commission Liaison Cohn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thank you very much, Ms. Jester.
Thank you so much for your guys' time. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
I believe we're now on to old business. There's one item ready for action, selection of officers for the Architectural Review Board. Not sure where to go from here.
I would be happy to give you some guidance on this, if I may,
Good.
Chairman. Excellent. So as the members are aware, we've had a bit of turnover in the membership, which has led to some of the officers leaving. And Secretary Ritter has been acting as chair for the last several meetings. And we're very appreciative of that. But tonight, we would like to entertain a motion for the officer positions, which are the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary. From the floor, it can be done individually for each position, or it can be presented as a slate of candidates and approved with one motion. We've provided the list of applicants that are the list of members that are eligible for these positions in the packet. And we would be happy to entertain a motion for each of these or all of them together.
I'll make a motion for the 3 eligible members that are actually at the meeting.
I believe that we actually have more than 3 eligible members. Oh, you mean that are at this meeting?
Yes, that are at this meeting.
We will need specifically who would be filling each role.
Does anyone have a preference on roles?
All right, we're going to that page now.
This is a way to make people very quiet.
It is, apparently, it is. If it would be, if it would be better, we would be happy to continue this to the next meeting. And if you would like, you're welcome to send me, email in a slate of candidates, or if anybody is interested in any of these positions. But it is important that we get them filled, just so that we have, that covered, just in case somebody isn't here, having the responsibility is important at the meetings.
New year, new officers.
Councilmember Clark. You're on mute.
I guess I wasn't on mute to start. Chair Ritter, are you interested in continuing as chair?
I will if nobody else will.
Okay, so is there someone else that is interested in the group tonight?
I see Alex out, so he's interested.
Well, I would like to know who's interested, because I wouldn't want to put a name out there for somebody that is not. So I guess I would just ask each one of you, or if you're interested in doing this job, please let us know.
Absolutely.
Does that mean absolutely you are interested?
No, absolutely. I'll think about it and I'll let the collective council know.
Thank you.
I would be interested in a role, but as an alternate, I'm not eligible. So.
Okay, that's true. So, and Ms. Hefner, are you interested?
Considering this is my second meeting, I'm not really sure what I would be signing up for. So I think I'm going to say no.
Okay. That's what we need.
Yeah.
What I'm, and Miss Loja isn't on, right?
No, those are the three eligible members here tonight.
Mr. Sanini, you said you would not, you don't know yet?
I need to entertain it a little bit longer.
Who else is?
My Colin Foster is also on the eligibility list. Although I don't think it's appropriate to nominate her when she's not here to defend herself.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to give some background information on essentially what the rules are.
That'd be wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. So essentially the chair of the board, as you see, leads the meeting, guides the meeting, runs through the agenda and such. The vice chair of the board would serve in their absence. So if this is something that you would be comfortable with in the absence of the chair, then that would be a good rule for you. As far as the secretary of the board is concerned, the secretary of board is essentially responsible for taking minutes, which we at the city do take minutes, but it needs to be approved, and that's their primary role. The other roles listed in the responsibilities of officers are to be responsible for publication and distribution of copies of the minutes, reports, and decisions to the members of the Architectural Review Board, which the city essentially handles. Also to give notice to the city clerk for posting as provided herein for all public meetings conducted by the Architectural Review Board, which again, the city essentially handles. advise the mayor on vacancies on the Architecture Review Board and expiring terms of the members, which essentially this city staff also assists with. Also to prepare to submit to the City Council a complete record of proceedings before the Architecture Review Board on any matter requiring City Council consideration, which the department will also assist with. And finally, to review and inspect projects which have been approved by the Architecture Review Board in compliance and self-education, which again, the department is also happy to assist with. So if anyone has any further questions, I'd be happy to address them.
See no hands up.
Okay, well, if you would like to, if the board would like to make a motion to continue this to the next meeting, and if we would like to handle this, via email, in which if you're interested, you could let me know and we could prepare a slate of candidates, or if you'd like to nominate anyone this evening, we would also be happy to fill the positions as soon as possible.
I think we probably should defer to the next meeting.
I'll take that as a motion, and
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Do we need to take roll on this?
Please.
All in favor or individually?
I believe individually. Robin, do you?
I believe normally we can do a voice vote.
A voice vote on this? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Pardon me. I believe that passes. There are no other items for consideration. Next meeting date is January 13th, 2022, if needed. And I want to thank everybody for coming this evening. Hopefully we'll get this position issue resolved next year.
2022.
To you all, hopefully happy holidays.
I mean, motion.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll make
I'll
that
make a
motion.
motion. I'll second then.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you all.
Always thank you and happy holidays.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
everyone.
Happy holidays.